The moment I fell on the icy stairs, I thought it was all over, but it turned back to the beginning. These were the first words Clara, a nurse from upstate New York, wrote in her email to us. She died clinically at the end of 2024. What she experienced in that brief span surpasses imagination. According to Clara, she met Jesus face to face, and he revealed 4 prophetic events set to unfold in June 2025. She returned to Earth bearing a message, not just for herself, but for you. Now she's ready to share her full story. Before we begin, please do 2 things to embrace the light. First, comment on your name and city so we can pray for God's blessings upon your entire family. Second, subscribe to our channel to join us in spreading the light of truth from the Most High. If you're able, support us via the Super Thanks button as a way to contribute to this mission of awakening humanity's souls. We're deeply grateful and lift your heart to the Almighty. My name is Kate, a nurse from upstate New York. Today, a power outage at our home brought back memories of my clinical death late last year, confirming the truth of what I saw. That's why I wrote this letter to you, the team at Eternal Bible Stories. It all began on a Sunday when our house lost power the previous night around 10 p.m. My son, now 10 years old, was playing video games when the power went out, and he was quite disappointed. I, on the other hand, found joy in it as it gave our family a chance to spend time together. The electricity was out until 4 a.m. when it finally came back on. My son came downstairs to join my husband and me, playing with his Lego bricks. Suddenly he looked up and asked me in a very strange tone, "Mom, did you forget something?" In that moment, memories of that fateful night flooded back, overwhelming me the day I truly died and met Jesus. I clearly remember that night, a late December evening after finishing a night shift at St. Luke's Hospital. Exhausted, I collapsed on the sofa in my nurse's scrubs, too tired to change. The winter night was blanketed in snow, with ice sealing every corner, slowing cars to a crawl and silencing the birds. My phone buzzed incessantly with texts from my sister, reminding me to bring Mom's Parkinson's medication. Like many elderly people, my mother struggled terribly in the mornings. Waking up late, I shivered as I splashed water on my face and hurriedly dressed. My left hand clutched the pill bottle, while my right held a folded umbrella, not yet fully opened. I muttered under my breath, "Lord, just give me 10 minutes of peace." Little did I know, those were the last 10 minutes I'd be conscious in this body. I stepped onto the porch, the umbrella still not fully raised, and my foot touched the first step. A faint crunch sounded as my soul slipped on an invisible layer of ice. I fell hard, and it was the twist of my neck against the step that truly killed me. A sharp crack echoed, and I knew my neck was broken. My body went numb instantly, my heart stopped, and my final thought was to stand up. But I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, my body was completely still. The umbrella slipped from my hand, its weak clang fading beneath the steps. The space around me shifted from freezing cold to warm, as if an invisible blanket enveloped me. A soft golden light danced across my vision, like sunlight behind closed eyelids. Suddenly I felt weightless, seeing my soul hovering above my broken body. Below, on the porch, my neighbor Mr. Hammond rushed over, phone in hand, dialing 911 and shouting for help from those nearby. Though I could hear every word clearly, I knew there was no saving this body. The space around me sank into a living silence. Only the sound of the wind remained, but it was a cosmic hum, not an ordinary sound. I felt an invisible force pulling from deep within, drawing my soul through layers of emotion, regret, peace, sadness, laughter. Each layer appeared like a frame in an endless film reel. Then the space fell completely silent, not an emptiness, but a sacred stillness brimming with life. I realized I had died, yet there was no pain, only a lightness, as if shedding a tattered coat. Before I could gather my thoughts, I was pulled onward, not soaring to the sky, but through a strange tunnel woven from memories and sacred music. The tunnel's walls shimmered with light, and as I moved forward, memories flashed, me at 8 crying on these very steps, my mother kneeling in prayer upon learning I was unconscious, the silent pleas of strangers. All of it was like a chain of threads connecting my soul to people I'd never met. My body lay motionless below, but my soul was led through a silver-blue mist into a realm beyond description. I felt no fear, only an immense love enveloping me, as if touching a light that could speak. At that moment I understood that sudden death is ever present in daily life, even when you feel safe in a warm home. Let me share a bit about what happened afterward. The very next morning we discussed how I needed to buy a solar-powered phone charger. My family belongs to the lower middle class. Most of my husband's salary goes toward paying for the house and living expenses. Stockpiling for tough times is not easy, but we keep a small supply of food and water on hand. I had an encounter with Jesus when I was 16. Since then, I've often dreamed of warnings for myself, my parents, and later my family. I still remember in 2015, I dreamed of World War III. That dream spurred me to start stockpiling to prepare for difficult times. Looking back now, I realize the past 10 years have been Jesus showing his love for me and my family, preparing us. But no amount of money can prepare us for a collapse. Only faith in Jesus can. Relying on him day by day, hour by hour. Now, let's return to the journey of my soul leaving my body. As I left my body, a gentle force carried me through layers of feeling, each one vivid, a window to my soul. Regret swept in, heavy, like a storm cloud, showing moments I'd turned away. Peace followed, a still lake, soothing my core. Laughter and sadness danced, brief but bright, each layer a step deeper into the unknown. The pole guided me, steady and sure, toward a sacred space. I entered a realm of vibrant stillness, the air thick with life, pulsing with a quiet power. A warmth grew, not like fire, but like sunlight soaking into skin, wrapping me in comfort. My spirit settled, sensing something vast approaching. A presence filled the space, grand and alive, and I knew him instantly, Jesus. No words were needed, his light pierced me, knowing every thought, every memory. His form emerged, robed in white, flowing like clouds across a bright sky. His eyes blazed, stars in a cosmic sea, deep and endless. He spoke, not with sound, but within me, his voice steady, sure. This is not your end, Kate, but the start of your mission. The words landed, heavy with purpose, a call beyond my grasp. I stood in his light, the air shimmering, alive with intent, each particle awake, aware. He guided me back, opening my life like a book. I saw my childhood, a small girl weeping on those icy stairs, cold and alone. Then the future, Mum kneeling by my empty bed, her hands clasped, lips moving in prayer. Threads of light stretched, tying me to strangers, lives I'd yet to touch, a network glowing bright. Angels appeared, their forms faint, glowing softly, hovering near my lifeless body below. Their hands moved, guiding paramedics, their whispers planting hope. I saw my sister arrive, her cry a sharp sound, a wave rippling out, calling these beings closer. Their light pulsed, a quiet force in the chaos. Jesus stood beside me, his presence a rock, steady and strong. The air hummed, alive, each breath of it knowing me. I felt no fear, only a deep sense of being seen, fully known. His gaze held me, a mirror to my journey, my purpose unfolding. My life played on, moments layered together, a tapestry of time. I saw myself at work, comforting a patient, my hands gentle, voice soft. Nights spent praying for Mum flashed by, her face tired but hopeful. Each act rippled, joining a greater whole, a design of grace. Angels lingered, their glow a comfort, a sign of work unseen. My sister's scream echoed, a vibration reaching beyond this world. I saw how it drew angels near, their light a shield, their presence a spark in the dark. Jesus watched, his calm urging me to see my place. The space shimmered, a living canvas, every speck intelligent, aware. I moved forward, not by steps, but by thought, drawn to his light. The stillness deepened, a sacred calm holding all things, a peace beyond words. My spirit rested, open to his truth. Memories unfolded, a time I shared bread with a stranger, a cold night I prayed alone. Each choice glowed, a thread in his plan, linking me to others. Jesus' eyes stayed on me, steady, showing me the power of every act. I saw how love, even small, shifted the world. The angels moved, their forms a soft light, guiding below. I felt a pull, a purpose growing, a call to carry this forward. The air warmed, his presence a promise, a foundation for what lay ahead. My soul leaned in, ready for his words. I saw my life's ripples, a kind word to a child, a quiet prayer for a friend. Each moment wove into eternity, a pattern I'd never seen. Jesus stood near, his light a beacon, his voice within me, steady. The mission loomed, vast, yet his strength held me. The realm pulsed alive, a space where truth lived. I felt the weight of his call, a task to share, to warn. The angels' glow surrounded us, a testament to divine care. My spirit lifted, sensing the journey ahead, tied to his will. His presence grew, a warmth that filled every corner, a light that spoke. I saw my past, my doubts, my hopes, all known to him. The air carried his love, a force beyond time, steady and sure. I moved closer, drawn to the mission, the truth. The stillness wrapped me, a holy quiet alive with his power. I felt ready, my soul open, eager for what he'd show. Jesus' light held me, a guide for the path, a call to follow. My heart carried his words, a seed of purpose planted deep. Jesus lifted his hand, and the air grew dense, charged with a sacred weight. 4 scrolls of light materialized, each radiant, pulsing with a vibrant energy, their essence tied to monumental events destined for June 2025. The dates shimmered, elusive, my vision too frail to grasp them fully, so I'll recount these as weekly revelations, fragments of divine truth. As the scene steadied, I leaned forward, my spirit poised, eager for the unveiling of his plan. The first scroll unfurled, its light piercing, sharp as a blade cutting through the stillness. A sprawling city, perhaps New York, plunged into an eerie shadow, its skyline dimming, streetlights snuffed out, screens flickering to black. Power grids collapsed, satellites went silent, and all communication ceased, phones dead, radios mute, internet a ghost. Hospitals scrambled, their machines failing, while planes sat grounded, stranded in a world suddenly stilled. People stood frozen, not in panic, but in a bewildered daze, hands reaching blindly for loved ones in the dark. Cars littered streets, engines cold, ATMs blank, their screens offering no answers. Confusion hung thick, a fog over the city, yet amidst this void, a spark emerged. Candlelit circles formed, their soft flames casting a warm glow, drawing neighbors together in quiet unity. Voices rose, hesitant at first, then strong, singing hymns long forgotten, their melodies weaving through the night. Strangers embraced, their faces softened by shared need, a bond forged in the absence of machines. Jesus' voice resonated within me, clear and unwavering. This is to awaken hearts, to lead them to pray, to rely on each other and on me. The purpose crystallized a divine reset, stripping away technology to bear the human soul. I saw families kneeling on cold floors, their whispered pleas rising like incense, a quiet hum of faith reborn. The scroll's light dimmed, but its vision burned deep, a warning of upheaval, a call to prepare. Bread was broken, shared in dim homes, faces illuminated by hope. The air carried their prayers, a delicate thread connecting earth to the divine. The darkness lingered, a shadow of what loomed, a world unready yet stirring. Small acts of kindness multiplied, water shared, blankets offered, voices lifting in song. The scroll sealed shut, its message etched in my spirit, a step toward awakening. My heart held this truth, a beacon for the days ahead. The vision shifted, and I felt the weight of its reality. A mother lit a single candle, her children gathered close, their eyes wide but calm. An old man opened his pantry, giving what little he had to a neighbor. These moments, small yet profound, wove a tapestry of resilience, a light piercing the blackout's despair. The silence, once oppressive, became sacred, a space for souls to turn upward. The scroll's warning echoed, a call to shed reliance on fleeting systems. I saw the chaos, the fear, but also the hope, the return to what mattered. Communities formed, not out of force, but need, a glimpse of a world reborn. The vision held me, urging me to carry this forward, to share its urgency. The second scroll glowed, its warmth enveloping me, the scene transforming into one of radiant hope. Young people flooded unexpected places, high schools pulsed with raised hands, coffee shops hummed with fervent worship, prison yards, grey and cold, erupted in song. This was no church-led movement, but a direct outpouring of God's Spirit, a revival ignited by His touch. Teenagers packed a stadium, not for a concert, but for presence, pure and unscripted. No stage, no lights, just thousands standing together, their voices shouting Jesus' name, a cry from the depths of their souls. In June 2025, I will visit the youth, Jesus declared. Those who never knew me will proclaim my name, as if it's all they've ever known. Their eyes shone bright with truth, hearts pierced by a call beyond this world. I saw a girl, no older than 16, tears streaming, her voice strong, leading others in prayer. Boys in prison uniforms sang, their chains clinking, yet their spirits free, walls crumbling under their praise. This was a wave of change, a fire spreading, unstoppable. No leaders orchestrated this, no pastors stood at the helm. It was God alone, moving through hearts, stirring dreams, awakening the lost. A young man in a cafe dropped his phone, his hands raised, words of worship spilling out, drawing others near. The vision burned, a flame of hope, a light for a generation. The scroll closed, its glow lingering, a promise of renewal woven into time. I saw their faces, bold, unshaken, turned toward Him, their praise a vibration in the air. The world shifted, a new song rising, a movement of the Spirit. My soul lifted, clutching this vision, a call to believe in what was coming. The revival spread, touching cities, towns, places forgotten. A schoolyard filled with voices, not anger, but love, students kneeling on grass, praying for their world. A prison cell glowed, inmates sharing a tattered Bible, their words a shield. The air pulsed, alive with change, a tide turning under His hand. I felt their courage, their fire, a generation rising when none expected. The scroll's light stayed, a reminder of His power, His plan. This was no ordinary moment, but a divine appointment, a shift to carry forward. My spirit held it, a truth to proclaim, a hope to share. The third scroll opened with a sound like locks snapping, urgent, insistent. A city buzzed, its skyscrapers gleaming, banks and markets alive, digital signs flashing wealth and promise. Then, in an instant, lights flickered, then died, money evaporating, bank cards useless. Fortunes vanished, screens blank, a silent shock rippling through the streets. People lined up, not for food, but for answers, their voices sharp, demanding clarity from tellers, officials, pastors. No one knew, their words hollow, faces etched with loss. The world of wealth crumbled, a system built on sand, now swept away. Yet in this collapse, a new light emerged, faint but growing. Small communities formed, farmers sharing grain, their hands steady, generous. Believers gave quietly, their homes open, their tables set for strangers. An old woman, her voice calm, read Psalm 23, her hands passing warm soup to a young couple, their eyes soft with gratitude. Children worked beside grandparents, planting seeds, learning life anew in soil. Jesus spoke, His voice cutting through the vision. This is not about wealth but dependence. Man's systems must fall so hearts turn to me. The purpose was clear, humbling, a return to reliance on Him, on each other. Humble homes became shelters, their kitchens altars, glowing with faith. I saw the meek rise, their love a quiet strength, leading a new way. A man shared his last loaf, his face peaceful, trusting. A family opened their barn, feeding neighbors, their laughter a song. The vision grew, a world reshaped, light shining through broken places. The air thickened, a call to trust beyond coins, beyond screens. The scroll sealed, its truth heavy, a step toward dependence, toward truth. The cost was stark, some fell, consumed by loss, while others rose, grounded in faith. I saw the shift, a path to follow, a hope to hold. The collapse revealed hearts, some clinging to wealth, others to Him. A market, once loud, stood silent, its stalls empty, yet nearby a garden bloomed, shared by many. The vision lingered, a warning, a guide, a call to prepare. My spirit carried it, ready to share, to warn. The fourth scroll ignited, its light pulsing like a heartbeat, urgent, alive. A map formed, zooming to the Middle East, near Jerusalem, a place sacred, still. The sky split, silk tearing, light pouring down, radiant, otherworldly. Symbols danced, angelic tongues sang, a spectacle beyond human grasp. Millions looked up, their reactions a divide. Some wept, hands raised, hearts open. Others stood cold, unmoved. Children shouted names of angels, untaught, their voices pure. Soldiers dropped rifles, their faces soft with awe. This witnessing phenomenon, Jesus said, confirms the supernatural, but divides. Some see me, others turn away. Media swarmed, cameras flashing, scientists debated, their theories frail against the divine. The humble knew, their hearts certain, their eyes fixed on the sky. A Muslim woman and Jewish man stood together, tears mingling, united in wonder. Above, fire and water spun, gentle yet mighty, a sign of grace. This is the final invitation, Jesus declared, before a great shift. The scroll faded, its weight sacred. A call to the world, a moment of choice. The vision held, a bridge between realms, a truth undeniable. I saw the divide, hearts open, others closed, a line drawn. The sky's light lingered, a beacon for those who saw, a warning for those who didn't. A child pointed, naming a figure in the glow, her voice clear, untaught. A soldier knelt, his weapon forgotten, his heart awake. The air hummed, urgent, a moment nearing, a call to act. The vision stretched, a tapestry of choice, of consequence. I saw the humble, their faith a rock, their eyes on him. The proud turned away, their hearts hard, blind to the sign. The scroll's truth burned, a message to carry, a light for all. Jesus turned, his eyes steady, piercing, his voice slicing through the sacred stillness. My church is not ready, he declared, the words landing like a stone, heavy with truth. He opened a vision, revealing churches, their pews packed, voices raised, yet their light dim, their spirit hollow. The scene unfolded, a mirror reflecting a world lulled to sleep. People filled grand halls, rows stretching wide, their prayers thin, fleeting, bouncing off ornate ceilings, never rising. Sermons flowed, smooth and soothing, crafted to please, not to convict, their words soft, lacking the fire of truth. Worship became a spectacle, lights flashing, music loud but no heart, no surrender. Leaders stood tall, chasing applause, their glow faded, entangled in worldly ambition. The air felt cold, a hollow space where faith had withered to routine. I saw hearts distracted, eyes fixed on screens, not on him, a church adrift, unmoored from its call. Jesus watched, his sorrow a quiet tide, a love yearning for their return. The vision pressed, a sharp call to awaken, to see the chasm. The scene lingered, revealing more congregations busy, yet empty, their actions loud but shallow. Pastors spoke of comfort, not sacrifice, their messages polished, avoiding the cross's weight. People clapped, smiled, but left unchanged, their souls untouched by truth. The church stood, grand but frail, a shell of what it could be. I saw the cost, a people unprepared, their lamps unlit, their oil spent on fleeting things. The air grew heavy, the vision stark, showing a world on the edge, a storm nearing. Jesus' gaze held me, urging me to grasp the urgency, to see the gap. My spirit stirred, sensing the need, the call to warn. Then he pointed, and the scene shifted, small and warm, a contrast vivid and real. A humble kitchen glowed, 3 souls gathered, their hands clasped, voices soft but fierce with faith. Light poured from that room, brilliant, alive, a beacon cutting through the night. This is my true church, Jesus said, his voice firm, resolute. I saw the difference, grand halls dark, small homes ablaze. Grandmothers knelt, their prayers quiet, powerful, holding back the storm with whispered pleas. Prisoners prayed, their chains heavy, yet their faith burned bright, a shield against despair. Children whispered, their words innocent, pure, carrying a power unseen, a spark of eternity. The air hummed, alive with their cries, a force binding earth to heaven. They must return to me, he urged, not seeking my blessings, but my will, my obedience. The faithful stood firm, their surrender a radiant light, a stay against the coming judgment. Their strength, humble and real, shone as a model for all. The kitchen's glow spread, a vision of what could be small, surrendered hearts, not grand stages, holding his favor. I saw a widow, her hands worn, praying for her town, her words a wall of light. A prisoner read scripture, his voice steady, his cell a sanctuary. These were his church, alive, their faith afire. The vision deepened, revealing the contrast anew. Churches stood cold, their pews full, but their souls empty, prayers lost in noise. Leaders chased titles, their words loud, seeking praise, not truth, their hearts far from him. The weight of time pressed in, a warning sharp, a call to turn back, to repent. I saw the faithful, hidden, their pleas a thread of hope, weaving through the dark. A mother taught her son to pray, her voice gentle, her faith a rock. Their homes glowed, simple, strong, altars of love where worship thrived. The scene shifted, a challenge to rise, to be ready. Jesus' words echoed, a plea to repent, to seek him with all. Wake up, he urged, pray deep, as if time is short. His sorrow filled the air, a tide pulling at my spirit, a love that refused to let go. The faithful few shone, their prayers a fire, a stay for the world. The vision showed more. A church unready, lost in comfort, blind to the storm. Grand halls stood tall, their lights bright, but cold, no life within. Small rooms burned, their faith alive, a path to follow. The contrast was stark, a lesson in light and shadow, a truth to return. The prayers of the hidden rose, a song of surrender, pure and strong, a wall against chaos. I saw a child's plea, her voice small, her words true, shifting the air. A worker prayed, his hands rough, his faith a shield, a spark of hope. Their power held me, a call to join, to live for him. The scene lingered, showing the gap, the need, the path. Churches needed fire, not form, prayer, not performance, a return to truth. I saw the urgency, a world teetering, a church asleep, yet stirred by the few. Jesus' voice resounded, firm, loving, a guide to light. The vision stretched, a tapestry of warning, of hope. I saw the humble, their hearts open, their lives a prayer. The proud stood, distracted, their eyes on wealth, not him, a divide clear. The faithful strength, their light a beacon, called me to act, to share. The air thickened, the vision heavy, a moment of truth. I saw the church's heart, its need for awakening, its path to healing. Jesus' call lingered, a mission to carry, to wake the world. My spirit held this, a weight to bear, a truth to proclaim. The scrolls faded, and Jesus stepped back, his light warm, steady. An angel appeared, wings broad, edges tattered, frayed from bearing human burdens. Its form glowed, soft yet strong, a guide sent to lead me. We moved forward, a gentle pull carrying me into the beyond. Heaven opened, a realm of pure light, air fresh like a dawn in spring. Fields stretched wide, woven of colors beyond earth, blues deep, golds warm, purples alive. A sweet scent drifted, like flowers in bloom, calming my soul. The peace was vast, soaking in, a balm to all I'd known. Rivers flowed, crystal clear, singing a soft, joyful tune. Their waters danced, reflecting light in waves, bright and free. Gardens bloomed, petals swaying in a breeze of delight, a sanctuary of rest. Each corner glowed, a space to heal, to lift weary spirits. The angels' wings, torn yet radiant, moved us along, steady, sure. I saw souls, their light gentle, resting in this holy place. Areas stood apart, glowing soft, designed to soothe, to mend. The contrast to earth struck me, a haven free of pain. Golden paths wound through, smooth, leading to towers of light, tall and pure. The air hummed, a melody of calm, wrapping me in warmth. Every sight spoke of love, a design too vast for words. My spirit settled, drinking in the beauty, the peace. We passed lakes, their surfaces still, yet alive, reflecting heaven's glow. Flowers nodded, colors shifting, a dance of joy in the light. The angel guided, its presence a comfort, a shield of grace. I felt safe, held in this realm of eternal rest. Towers rose, their tips lost in light, a city of purity, bright and whole. The air carried a song, soft, sweet, a sound of welcome, of home. I saw spaces, each one ready, a place for souls to find peace. The beauty grew, a promise of love, a gift beyond measure. The angel's wings flared, tattered edges a sign of sacrifice, of care. I gazed at fields, alive with light, a land of endless calm. My spirit lifted, the weight of earth gone, replaced by hope. The realm stretched, a vision of grace, a call to rest. Rivers sang on, their voices a choir, mingling with the breeze. I saw souls, their forms bright, healed by this sacred space. The angel moved, its glow steady, guiding me through wonder. My heart opened, ready to learn, to see more. I turned to the angel, my voice soft, seeking truth. "Is there a hell?" I asked, needing to know. The angel paused, its eyes gentle, weighing my words with care. It nodded, slow, its light dimming slightly, a sign of the weight. "I will show you," it said, its voice a whisper, strong, clear. We stood still, heaven's peace holding us, a foundation for what came. The angel's presence anchored me, a guide in this holy place. I felt ready, the light around us a shield, a promise. The gardens glowed, flowers bright, a contrast to the question I'd asked. The air stayed sweet, a breath of life, calming my spirit. The angel's torn wings moved, a testament to love's cost. I looked out, the beauty vast, preparing for the truth. Heaven stretched, a realm of light, pure and whole, a home for all. I saw the peace, the rest, the love woven into every part. The angel led, its glow a beacon, a path through wonder. My spirit held fast, open to the lesson ahead. We stood in heaven's light, the angel's eyes gentle, strong, holding a deep truth. Its voice came, soft yet firm, cutting through the calm. Hell is not God's punishment forced on humanity, it began, steady and clear. I listened, the words a key to a mystery long hidden. It's a place souls choose, rejecting his love and holiness, the angel said. God gave free will, a gift precious, heavy with duty. He made you for light, to love, to obey him. The air pulsed, heaven's peace a foundation, holding me as I took this in. The angel's wings, tattered, glowed faintly, a sign of sacrifice. Some turn away, chasing selfish desires, fleeting lures. It continued. Refusing light, darkness swallows them. Pain fills the void where love could be. The words landed, sharp, a mirror to choices made. Hell exists because justice and holiness cannot coexist with sin, the angel explained, its voice calm yet unyielding. God does not desire this fate for his children, yet his righteousness demands it. It raised a hand, and the scene shifted. A vast chasm yawned below, dark and alive with writhing shadows, a realm heavy with consequence. I stood above, safe in heaven's embrace, gazing into a place that pulsed with despair, its reality undeniable. A foul stench rose, thick and choking, a mix of rotting flesh and sulfur that stung my senses. Screams pierced the air, raw and unending, a chorus of anguish that echoed from the depths. Demons prowled, their forms twisted jagged limbs, eyes burning red with hate, tails lashing like whips, claws gleaming with malice. They circled lost souls, tormenting them with cruel precision, their laughter a grating, hateful sound that clawed at the heart. The scene was a stark contrast to heaven's serenity, a vision of chaos born of choice. The angel's voice anchored me, a steady light amidst the horror. God intervened through his son's sacrifice on the cross, it said, its words ringing with hope. Jesus bore unimaginable pain, died to redeem all, to offer a path away from this place. The truth of the cross shone, a love so vast it spanned eternity, a way out freely given. I felt its weight, the sacrifice that bridged the chasm between humanity and grace. "Choice remains yours," the angel said, its eyes kind yet firm, holding mine with quiet intensity. "Love cannot be forced. If God stripped away free will, you would lose his image within you, the capacity to love truly." I gazed into the pit, its darkness writhing, a place not of cruelty but of consequence, shaped by the will of those within. Souls wandered, lost, their faces etched with regret, trapped by paths they had chosen. The air below burned heavy with heat, a stark opposite to heaven's cool, living calm. Demons taunted, their voices sharp, reciting faults with cold accuracy, each word a lash. The scene embodied justice, pure, unyielding, a reflection of decisions made in life. Yet even in its severity, there was no malice from God, only the inevitable outcome of rejecting his light. The angel's tone warmed, strong and compassionate. "He calls to you daily, waiting patiently, using every means to draw you back," it said. "Through his teachings, through others, through the quiet voice of your conscience, he knocks at your heart, urging you to turn." The words built a bridge, a plea to heed his voice, to choose the path of love. I saw the countless ways he reaches out, his persistence a testament to his longing for every soul. Yet some refuse, clinging to sin, choosing this place by their own will. The angel added, its voice tinged with sorrow. Below, flames danced alive, their heat punishing yet fair, a response to defiance. Demons sneered, their claws glinting, their accusations a relentless record of every wrong. The pit pulsed, a warning laid bare, a truth that demanded reckoning. "Hell reflects choices, not God's cruelty," the angel said, its light unwavering, a shield against the darkness below. "He never abandons you. Even now he seeks you, offering a way to redemption." The screams softened, the stench lingered faintly, a lesson in consequence etched into my spirit. I felt the weight of free will, the call to choose light over shadow, love over loss. The angel's glow enveloped me, a protective embrace, shielding me from the horror I'd witnessed. Heaven's peace stood firm, a soothing balm to the chaos below. The vision clarified the divide between love's embrace and the desolation of rejection. My spirit absorbed this truth, a message to carry, a warning to share with those still choosing. We turned from the chasm, its darkness receding as heaven's light surged, bright and pure. The air cleared, sweet with the scent of life, a breath of hope that filled me anew. The angel's wings, torn yet radiant, moved gently, a sign of love's enduring cost. I understood hell's place in the divine order, its role as a consequence, its call to turn back to God. The lesson sank deep, a guiding star for my path, a truth for all who would hear. Heaven's field stretched before us, glowing with promise, a vision of rest and eternal love. The angel led, its presence a rock, its light a beacon in the truth. My spirit stood ready, holding fast to this message, prepared to bear it to the world. The angel's light guided me, a gentle pull back through realms. Pain returned, needles sharp in my skin, pressure heavy on my chest. Air stung my throat, and I gasped, alive after 7 minutes dead. My mind cleared, every name, every moment sharp, a gift from beyond. Doctors stared, their faces stunned, expecting loss, damage. I spoke truths unexplainable, a nurse's unborn son's name, an EMT's hidden heart flaw. They tested, marveled, finding no fault, my clarity a sign. The air held wonder, a touch of eternity in their eyes. At home I saw watchers, guardians of spirit, faint, glowing. Every house had one, shielding us from dark forces, wings torn, frayed. Their numbers grew, their edges ragged, a sign of battle. I felt their strain, a call for us to rise, to act. I sensed burdens, weights on others, unseen but real. In a store, a thread bound a woman's heart, dark, tight. I spoke, "Forgive Peter," not knowing why, and she nodded, her son's name true. A bond mended, a light sparked, a truth revealed. Night brought visions, air shimmering like heat on stone. Watchers stood near, not judging, but praying, their presence steady. I felt them, protectors of those with messages, a force unseen. The room glowed, a bridge between worlds alive with power. Prayer deepened this, light filling my room at dawn during worship. I saw loads, not thoughts, but cares, heavy, pressing. A man's eyes held grief, a weight I named, a loss he hid. The veil thinned, a touch of heaven, a call to see. Watchers guarded, their wings battered, a testament to fight. Their numbers swelled, their strength fading, urging us to stand. The air pulsed, urgent, a sign of time slipping fast. I carried this, a duty to speak, to share. I spoke truths, words from beyond, to strangers, friends. A child's fear, a mother's doubt. I named them, untaught. Each moment felt holy, a work of the divine, unseen. Watchers watched, their role vital, their sacrifice clear. June 2025 loomed, windows of consequence. I called them times of wait. Our prayers, choices, silence would shape nations' lives. Watchers signaled urgency, a world on the edge, needing us. The air held power, a call to ready, to rise. I lived in both realms, heaven's touch stitching me to eternity. Watchers grew, a sign we're not alone, a force at work. My mission burned, a light to carry, a truth to tell. The veil thinned, a bridge to act, to prepare. I share 4 commands from the Lord, steps for the events of June 2025. First, pray deeply, not quick pleas for safety, but true communion. Set time aside, let it reshape your heart, your life. He'll guide you, he promised, through every storm ahead. Prayer is your lifeline, a tie to his voice, his strength. I saw shallow cries fail, but deep pleas glow, alive. Kneel daily, seek him, let your soul meet his light. The air shifts, his presence near, a rock for tough days. Second, simplify your life, cut distractions that cloud your spirit. Social media, empty shows, useless pastimes weigh the church down. These are sandbags before a flood, blocking your light. Trim them, shine bright, be ready for change. I saw hearts lost, eyes on screens, not him, a world adrift. Clear the noise, focus on truth, on what lasts. Simple lives glow, a beacon in dark, a path to follow. The call is clear, strip away, prepare your soul. Third, forgive, let go of anger, hurt, that deafens you. Unforgiveness blocks his voice, a wall when scrolls open. I saw souls bound, too bitter to hear, lost to truth. Release it, find power, a gate to strength ahead. Forgiveness frees, opens your heart to his whisper, his bowl. I saw the cost, the pain of grudges held too long. Give it up, embrace his grace, stand ready for June. The air lightens, a step to power, to purpose. Fourth, fear not, live in obedience, find peace in chaos. Storms will come, but trust steadies you, a firm foundation. He showed me fear, the enemy's tool, but obedience wins. His peace holds, a light in the tempest sure. I felt his calm, a gift beyond dread, a rock to stand. Live for him, follow his way, face the storm. Obedience unlocks rest, a shield for what's coming. The call is now trust, act, be strong. These steps ready you, your heart, your home, your voice. I saw the scrolls, their weight, a shift nearing fast. Prayer, simplicity, forgiveness, courage, your tools for June. My mission burns, a call to share, to wake. The church needs this, a turn from comfort to truth. I saw it unready, lost in noise, blind to storm. Pray deep, simplify, forgive, stand firm, he urged. The air hums, time short, a plea to act. I carry this, a light from eternity, a word for you. The scrolls burn, dates close, a world on the edge. You're part of this, chosen to hear, to rise. Prepare now, lean on him, face what comes. Kate Scott's story, a journey from death to divine revelation, isn't shared for fame. She was given a mission, and so are you who read or hear this. You're chosen to encounter this before June 2025, a vital part of the awakening. These events may not have struck yet, but that doesn't mean they won't. Prepare your heart, your home, your family. Strengthen faith, pray earnestly, stock essentials for tough days ahead. Join us by subscribing, comment your name and city for prayer, and use super thanks to fuel this mission of truth. Kate's words urge you, turn to God, live ready, embrace His call. Next, we'll share another testimony, a soul warned by Jesus of America's collapse if it doesn't change. Stay with us, uncover this urgent message, and walk toward the light. Your role begins now. Act today. He was just an ordinary man in his 40s, practical, hard-working, and never once thought he needed God. He didn't hate God, but he didn't follow Him either. To him, faith was just an option, something for the weak or the desperate. But then, on what seemed like a completely normal afternoon, a sudden earthquake struck. In a matter of seconds, he was buried under the rubble, and he died. But that death wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. He left his body and entered a journey far beyond human understanding, a direct encounter with Jesus Christ, where truth was revealed, the world was exposed through heavenly eyes, and a mission was placed into his hands. In today's video, you'll hear a true testimony, a face-to-face meeting with the Creator Himself, and a wake-up call for a world caught in spiritual sleep. Stay with us until the end, because maybe you're the one God is trying to wake up. Welcome to Eternal Bible Stories, where real near-death experiences are told to awaken faith and illuminate the soul. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and leave your name and the city you're watching from in the comments so that God knows you're here, watching, and ready to receive His blessings. Now, listen closely to her story. Now, here is his testimony. Hello, Eternal Bible Stories and everyone watching. I honestly don't even know where to begin my story. If you had met me before all of this happened, you would have just seen a completely normal guy. I wasn't the type to argue about religion. I didn't hate God, and I didn't mock people who had faith. I just didn't care. I was a practical man. I worked hard, paid my bills on time, fixed things around the house when they broke, and tried not to bother anyone. And to me, that was enough. I didn't think I was a bad person. I didn't kill anyone, I didn't steal, I didn't cheat anyone in business, I just lived, like most people do. Faith, church, the Bible, to me those were things I respected from a distance. I had Christian friends, they were kind, good-hearted people, but whenever they started talking about God, I'd usually smile politely and change the subject. Inside I'd think, good for them, but I don't need that. I used to believe, as long as I'm a decent person, that should be enough. If God's real, I'm sure He'll understand. I didn't read the Bible, I didn't pray, I wasn't searching for anything spiritual. Life already felt full. Work, bills, the news, family stuff. Who has time for all that spiritual stuff? But deep down, I had moments, quiet moments, where I'd wonder, what am I really living for? Those questions never stayed long. They were quickly buried under deadlines, sports scores, or a few minutes scrolling on my phone. I didn't let myself think too deeply. After all, life's short, right? Live it, then die. That was it. That's how I saw the world. Simple, logical, and more dangerous than I ever realized. I didn't know I was living like someone asleep. Closer to the truth than I thought, but completely unaware. I had treated God like some luxury for the weak or the desperate, never realizing I was the one who needed Him most. That day started like any other. I don't remember what the weather was like or even what I had for breakfast. Everything felt normal, until it wasn't. I was at the office when the ground started to shake. Just a little at first. I thought maybe a truck was passing by, but within seconds, that small tremor turned into a nightmare. The whole building groaned, glass shattered, screams echoed all around me. It felt like everything was collapsing at once. I didn't have time to think, only instinct kicked in. I ran. I dodged falling debris, jumped over shattered glass, ducked under hanging wires. I tried to find an exit, a safe spot. Out on the street, it was chaos. People were crying, shouting out names, some frozen in shock. The ground was shaking so violently, it felt like the earth itself was trying to swallow the city whole. I remember trying to make it to an open space, somewhere without tall buildings nearby. But as I turned into an alley, it happened. Maybe it was a wall that gave out, I don't know. I just heard a deep cracking sound behind me, and then silence. No pain, no light, no sound, just nothing. But somehow I was still aware. I still existed, I just wasn't in my body anymore. I saw myself floating above the scene. Down below was my body, lifeless, partially buried in rubble. My arm was twisted in a way no living person's arm should ever be. My eyes were closed, my chest wasn't moving. And right then I knew I was dead. What surprised me most was that I wasn't afraid. I didn't feel panic. I just felt this overwhelming peace. Something deeper than anything I'd ever experienced in life. It was like stepping out of a storm into a place of absolute stillness. There was no time, no pressure, no noise. I was suspended between two realms, not part of the world anymore, but not yet in eternity either. And then I sensed something approaching, something real, something powerful, but not frightening. I didn't know what it was at the time. I just knew one thing for sure. I had died, but my real journey was only just beginning. I don't know how long I floated in that space. There was no clock, no sunlight, no sense of time, just a deep, profound stillness and a strange feeling that I was somehow being waited for. Then I sensed something approaching. Not footsteps, not a blinding light, but a presence. Something holy, all-encompassing. I didn't see him right away, but every fiber of my soul knew someone was coming, and he knew me. I couldn't speak. I didn't try to run. I couldn't, and I didn't need to. That presence wasn't threatening, but it was full of authority. It wasn't cold, but it made me feel smaller than I had ever felt. No one needed to introduce him, there was no name tag. But I knew, with a deep awareness that bypassed thought, I knew it was Jesus. Not the image of him I'd seen in books, not the symbol from religious debates, not the maybe real, maybe not figure I had once brushed off. This was him, real, alive, powerful, and so loving, it almost broke me. I wanted to fall to my knees, but I had no body. I wanted to cry, but I had no eyes. And even without a voice, my soul could only say one thing: I'm sorry. I had never believed. I had never prayed. I had lived as if he didn't exist. I had ignored him my entire life. But what shattered me most was his eyes. He didn't look at me with anger, not with judgment, not with disappointment. He looked at me like a father who had been waiting for his lost child to come home. I had never seen a look like that, strong like fire, gentle like water. A gaze that saw right through me, through every failure, every fracture, and still chose to love. He didn't need to speak. I could feel everything, that he had known me from the very beginning. He knew I would doubt. He knew I would turn away. He knew every single time I brushed off that still, small voice in my heart. And yet, he still came for me. I couldn't comprehend it. A part of me wanted to run from the light of that truth, but another part, the truest part of me, just wanted to stay in his presence forever. Nothing else mattered anymore. Not work, not money, not reputation, just him and me. I used to think that if I died, I'd be judged, condemned, or simply disappear. But standing face to face with Jesus, I wasn't crushed. I was seen, I was understood, and I was loved in a way no human language could ever express. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew one thing for certain: I had met him. And whether I lived or died, my life would never be the same again. I don't know how, but right after standing before Jesus, all the memories in me began to move. It wasn't like watching a film play from the beginning. It was more vivid than that. I wasn't just reviewing my life, I was reliving every moment, but this time through his eyes. I saw the things I had done wrong, the words that hurt others, the selfish decisions, the times I lost my temper instead of listening. But what broke my heart more wasn't the obvious mistakes, it was the things I had overlooked. I saw a woman crying in her car in the parking lot near my workplace. I had walked right past her, no concern, no second thought. I saw a co-worker once hint that he was struggling, but I was too busy trying to meet a deadline. I saw a child at the supermarket looking up at me, wanting to say something, but I smiled politely and turned away. Back then, I thought those moments were harmless, nothing significant. But now, under the light of truth, I saw that each second carried spiritual weight. Not because I was a bad person, but because I was too indifferent, too busy, too normal to care. I also saw the times I had felt something stir in my conscience, a gentle prompting, like a whisper saying, call and apologize or go comfort that person, but I ignored it. Another time, it's not convenient. I'm sure they're fine. Small excuses, but the consequences were greater than I ever realized. God didn't just show me the actions, He showed me the impact. The words I didn't speak made others feel invisible. The times I refused to forgive created distance that lasted for years. A kind word held back was sometimes the one thing someone desperately needed, and I had stayed silent. I wasn't being accused. He didn't point a finger at me, but in his eyes I saw something serious, that every moment has eternal value, that life isn't measured by achievements or recognition, but by love, truth, compassion, and by obedience to the prompting of the Holy Spirit. I used to think I was a good person, not perfect, but responsible and respectful. But standing before absolute holiness, I saw clearly, good by human standards isn't enough. God isn't looking for perfection. He's looking for a heart that listens, that loves, and that obeys. And what hurt me the most wasn't the mistakes, it was the wasted potential. I saw what could have happened if I had lived awake. I saw the people I could have impacted, the relationships I could have restored, the joy I could have experienced if I had truly walked in His love. Even so, He never took His eyes off me. He didn't close His heart. I felt something more sacred than regret. It was hope. That if I was still here, still being shown all of this, then it meant it wasn't too late. And just when I thought I couldn't take in any more, Jesus looked at me, gently but firmly, as if He was ready for the next step. He was about to show me something greater, not just my life, but the entire world, in the light of truth. Just when I thought everything I needed to see had already been revealed, Jesus shifted the space around me once again. But this time, it wasn't about the past. It wasn't about me. It was about the world, the one I had just left behind. Without needing any explanation, I began to see everything from above, as if my eyes were no longer my own. I saw people, crowded, busy, constantly moving, on buses, in coffee shops, at their desks. Everyone's heads were buried in screens, swiping, scrolling, typing, switching. Their eyes were open, but their souls seemed asleep. I saw a man sitting at dinner with his wife and kids, but his eyes never left his phone. I saw a woman crying alone in her bedroom, the TV blasting just to drown out the terrifying silence. I saw groups of young people laughing in restaurants, but their laughter wasn't real. It was a mask for the emptiness inside. No one had to explain it to me. I could feel the truth in every scene. The world wasn't awake, it was asleep. Not physically, but spiritually, as if an invisible fog had clouded the minds of humanity. Then I saw the churches, some small, some massive. I wanted to feel hope, but instead I felt a quiet sadness. Not everywhere, but in far too many places. There was music, there were sermons, there were lights, but what was missing was the most important thing, the fire of the Holy Spirit. I saw people singing worship songs with their mouths, but their hearts were somewhere else. I saw messages crafted to be inoffensive, well-worded, easy to hear, comforting, but lacking truth and spiritual power. I saw pastors more concerned with views, applause, and branding than with whether the presence of God was truly there. I saw believers who had grown used to comfort but had forgotten the fear of the Lord. It broke my heart. But Jesus wasn't surprised. He simply whispered into my spirit, not loud, but each word thundered through my soul. They don't know what time it is. I understood instantly. He wasn't talking about the hour or the calendar. He was speaking about the spiritual season, a critical moment in history that the world was living through, yet unknowingly sleeping through. I saw people arguing, online, in person, about politics, opinions, and things that meant very little in the light of eternity. Families torn apart, friendships ended, churches divided over trivial things. I saw pride overpower compassion. I saw people quick to speak, but painfully slow to forgive. And behind it all, I saw the enemy. Not loud, not obvious, just whispering. All he needed was for people to be distracted, to be skeptical, to be delayed, to believe that God wasn't truly necessary. That was enough. The deception didn't come through fear, it came through comfort, not through threats, but through the normalization of what's wrong. And the terrifying part was, it was working. But in the middle of that picture, I saw light, small but real. I saw a young woman praying alone in a tiny room, tears soaking her pillow. I saw a man sitting in his car on a lunch break reading his Bible. I saw an elderly couple handing out food to the homeless. No cameras, no signs, just love. They weren't famous, they weren't praised, but they were awake. The fire in them was quiet but strong. And when Jesus looked at them, I saw him smile, not with pride, but with joy. And he said, "These are the ones who know me, these are the ones who are watching." I barely had time to breathe when he added something that chilled me to the core. But there are so many, right on the edge of waking up, and they need someone to call them. God didn't need to say anything more. The space around me shifted again, as if a door had opened, not for me to look back, but to look ahead. He said, "Now I will show you a part of what is coming." I didn't know why, but the moment he said that, I felt a distinct pressure in the air, not fear, but the weight of something sacred. I knew what I was about to see would change me forever. The vision began with shaking. I saw the ground splitting in many places. There were earthquakes, floods, wildfires. But I understood. These weren't just natural events, they were spiritual signs. Lands weren't just quaking in a physical sense. People's hearts and spirits were beginning to tremble too. I saw economies teetering like houses of cards. I saw governments collapsing not because of outside enemies, but because of rot from within. I saw people running, sometimes from war, but often just from a deep emptiness they couldn't name. I felt it clearly, the things humanity once put its trust in, money, systems, status, were beginning to fall apart. Not all at once, but slowly, piece by piece, until no one knew what to cling to anymore. And yet, in the middle of all that chaos, I didn't feel despair. Something rose deep within my soul. This is not the end. These are birth pains. One phrase came clearly. Birth pains. The pain before new life. Something new was coming. A new spiritual life. A new season God was preparing for the world. I saw people beginning to ask deep questions. Why do I still feel empty, even when I have everything I wanted? Why does it feel like I'm waking up while everything around me is falling apart? Is there something more? These questions weren't shouted aloud. They rose quietly in people's hearts, like seeds. And God showed me, for some, this would be the beginning of awakening, but not for all. I also saw another wave rising, a great deception. It wasn't loud, it wasn't scary. It came in soft words, through leaders, political, cultural, even religious, people who spoke smoothly, persuasively. They didn't call for war, they called for unity, peace, tolerance, personal freedom. They didn't openly deny God, they simply said he was no longer necessary, that truth was not absolute, that the most important thing was living your truth and following your feelings. And the crowds clapped, people cheered, they felt liberated. But I saw the emptiness behind their beautiful words. It was all without foundation, without truth, without the Holy Spirit, only self-glorification and rejection of everything absolute that comes from God. I saw many churches split. Some accepted the lies, watering down the gospel to fit the times. Others stood firm in faith, but they were mocked, pushed to the fringes of society. I saw people leaving the faith, not because they hated God, but because they believed he no longer mattered, that he was just a part of the past. I wanted to scream, to warn them, because I knew exactly what they were walking away from. And then, in the middle of that darkness, I saw another current, small but radiant, revival. Not on big stages, no spotlights, no live streams. I saw it in tiny rooms where people knelt in tears whispering real prayers. I saw young people holding their Bibles, not to debate, but to know God. I saw elderly men and women repenting, not because they were wicked, but because they had lived too long in a faith that had no power. I saw the sick healed through the prayers of children. I saw worship happening in basements, baptisms in bathtubs, and simple bread and water becoming Holy Communion. Then God spoke. For the first time during the entire vision, he spoke out loud. There will be a divide between those who truly follow me and those who only say they do. I felt that sentence like a sword piercing through my soul, not to threaten me, but to prepare me. I understood. The world wasn't just moving forward, it was being pulled toward a choice. A great divide, not along race, politics, or nations, but between truth and lies. And it all came down to one simple question: who will you worship, yourself or God? I thought that after everything I had seen, my life, the world as it is, the vision of what's to come, that must have been the end. I had no more questions, no more words to speak. I just wanted to stay, to be with him, to remain in that presence forever. I didn't want to go back, not because I was afraid, but because I had found home. For the first time in my life, I felt whole. No pressure, no pretending, no burdens, just holy presence, pure love, and living truth I never even knew I needed so badly. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. With God, you don't have to speak. He reads every thought as if it were written in front of him, and I knew he was about to say what I didn't want to hear. He looked at me, not with sadness, not with heaviness, but with love, steady, certain love. He said, "You have to go back." I didn't ask why. I didn't resist, I just stayed silent. Inside, I broke again, not out of pain, but because I knew he was right. Then he said, "There are others like you, they are ready, but asleep." When I heard that, it was like being awakened all over again. I knew exactly who he was talking about. People just like I had been, kind, hard-working, morally upright by the world's standards, but without God. Not walking in truth, not spiritually awake. They didn't hate God, they just postponed him. They thought they had more time. And I was being called to return for them. Not to preach a sermon, not to argue or convince, but to witness with my life, with these eyes that had seen him, with a heart that had been touched and transformed by him. Jesus didn't lay his hand on me, but I felt it clearly. He placed something into my soul. It didn't have a shape. It wasn't a message in words, but I knew what it was. Holy weight. A responsibility that didn't crush me, but filled me. I no longer lived without direction. I wasn't just given life again, I was given purpose. And then he spoke one last time. "You must tell them, not just with your words, but with your life." I knew it wouldn't be easy. I knew some wouldn't believe me. Some would mock, some would brush me off, the same way I used to do to others. But I didn't care, because I had stood in the presence of the real one. I had met Jesus. I knew who he is. I wanted to beg him, let me stay just a little longer, but I didn't get the chance. He didn't vanish in thunder. There was no blinding light. He simply withdrew his presence, gently, like stepping behind a curtain. And I fell, not into hell, but out of heaven. Out of his presence, out of the light, out of the perfect peace. I fell back into the old world. And the fall was not gentle. I slammed back into my body like being yanked out of a dream in the dead of night. I felt pain, real pain. My chest exploded with pressure. My lungs burned for air. My head throbbed. Every shattered bone screamed inside me. I heard voices calling my name. Someone was shaking me. I was still under the rubble. I couldn't move. But one thing echoed through me. Loud, clear, not from my own mind, but branded into my spirit. "You must tell them." And I knew from that moment on, my life no longer belonged to me. I didn't come back to pick up where I left off. I wasn't brought back just to survive. I was given life to testify, to awaken those who still had time. I had once been asleep, and he woke me up. Now I have to do the same for someone else. When I opened my eyes, the first light I saw wasn't the light of heaven anymore. It was the harsh sunlight breaking through the dust and rubble. The silence was gone. Now there were human sounds, shouting, crying, sirens, people running back and forth. I couldn't move. Everything hurt. My head was pounding. My chest felt like it had been hit with a sledgehammer. I heard someone shout, "He's still breathing!" A hand touched my neck, checking for a pulse. I knew I was back. But I also knew I wasn't the same man. I had died. I had met Christ. I had been given life a second time, not to live more comfortably, but to live with purpose. The days that followed were a long journey. Hospitals, recovery, sleepless nights filled with physical pain. But nothing hurt more than the fear that I might forgets his presence, his eyes, the words he spoke to me. I can't forget. I won't forget. God placed a burden in me to awaken those who are still asleep. Not everyone is hostile to God. Many are like I was, knowing deep down there's something more, something bigger waiting, but always putting it off. They're not evil, they're not rebellious, they're just busy. They haven't realized yet that time waits for no one. I'm telling this story not to get attention. I don't care about fame or compliments. I just want to pass along what I've seen, heard and felt, with the hope that someone scrolling past this video, someone right on the edge of waking up, might stop and listen. You might be someone who's doing all the right things, living well, being moral, staying out of trouble. But if you're not walking with God, if you don't know Him, if you haven't made Him Lord of your life, then you're still asleep. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to remind you, God is still calling you. He's still knocking. Not to force Himself in, but to invite you, to love you, to rescue you from a life that looks full but feels empty, from a world that's loud but lacks true peace. That used to be my life, and I died. And when I died, I took nothing with me except the relationship I didn't have with Him. But He welcomed me, He forgave me, and He sent me back for you. If you're listening to me and something inside you is stirring, don't push it away, don't shut it down. That's not just emotion, that's a call, that's grace. You still have time, but not much. Wake up, come home, step out of spiritual sleep and return to the one who made you, who loves you, and who's waiting for you. My name is David. I died, I met Jesus, and I was sent back to wake you up. Thank you so much for spending time with us today on Eternal Bible Stories. David's journey reminds us that no one is ever too far, too late, or too ordinary to be called by God. His story is a wake-up call, not just for those who've rejected God, but especially for those who've quietly drifted, thinking they still had more time. We want to hear from you. What part of David's experience spoke to your heart the most? Did it remind you of your own journey? Are you someone who's been living good, but spiritually asleep? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Your words could encourage someone else who's on the edge of awakening. This community is a place for real stories, real faith, and real hope. And before you go, let us pray for you. Heavenly Father, we lift up every soul watching this video. You know their hearts, their questions, their struggles, and their silent prayers. We ask that you meet them right where they are. Wake them up gently, yet powerfully. Help them to hear your voice, to feel your presence, and to know that you are calling them back, not with anger, but with love. Strengthen those who are weary, heal those who are broken, and light a fire in those who are searching. Protect them, guide them, and lead them into a deeper walk with you. In Jesus' name, Amen. If this message touched you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear these life-changing testimonies. And remember, this isn't just another video. This might be the moment God uses to wake someone up, maybe even you. We'll see you next time right here on Eternal Bible Stories, where real near-death encounters are shared to awaken faith and shine the light of Christ into every soul. God bless you, stay awake, stay ready, Jesus is near.